Okay. Currently no gamepad's connected. What? That's right. I need to have a... I'm just configuring my OBS right now. I need to have another sync scene. My face just like underneath this. Okay. My face over here. Okay. Got my face on. I mean, not on there, but you know. Then I need... I create way too many scenes in this. I've got too many scenes. Put myself over in the corner there. Okay. I think we're about ready for this. I just need to place this. We don't want cam full screen. We want this to be monitor. Okay. Now we're going to do a quick little test. Okay. Well, first, let's launch the game here. Why? Okay. Go here. That work? No, get rid of studio mode. Okay, got rid of studio mode. Go back to this. Okay. Trust me, this is a good idea for a stream, okay? I don't like how you're just doubting me already. Okay, I just got started. I need you to cut me some slack. Okay, there's our Sekiro. Sekiro is very low. Oh, it's because I turned down the volume the other day, that's right. But it looks like I have the controller overlay working, and I have this whole view working, so that's cool. I'm gonna turn up this volume a little bit. Nice. Okay. So that's all working. And let's see what else I got here. I should have a monitor button. Oh no! Which looks terrible because I have managed to leave this open. Okay. So we've got the other monitor. These are all the tabs. We have the controller overview. And then what's this button do? Oh, now that I've minimized OBS, I can't actually see the response. I have to wait for the screen to catch up. Okay, that just switches to this usefulness. But you can see that I ate some barbecue chips. Going very well. Okay, we got the standby button. Goes to standby, maybe. And then we have the controller overview. Okay, cool. That is good enough for me. So I don't know if every time I die, I'm going to try and close a tab. I just know that I have way too many tabs open for way too long. So we're going to get through these tabs. And we're also going to play some Sekiro. It'll be fun. I mean, seriously, these tabs have been open. How many tabs do I have? Take a quick look at these tabs. It's a lot of tabs. Just too many tabs. And we're gonna give them each their due. I mean, you know, we might go to a tab and not like it. I'm not committing to finishing reading every single one of these pieces, but we're gonna at least give them their due. Also, it took me so long to get like home and set up and ready to go that like I might only do this for an hour, so I might not get through all the tabs anyway. But still, you know, we're here. We're gonna try it.
Will you be cast out or throw yourself in?
What?
If you wish to go to the very depths of Ashina, then you'd best cast
That's how I feel.
yourself out.
What?
Over there. The depths of Ashina are over there.
What? This guy. Oh, shoot. What? This is my first time into this space. It's a good thing I was paying attention. Because I bet I would just die if I kept falling. I don't know, like what is here? What am I... This is certainly a change in environment. Alright, we found a friend. Might have made more sense. Why does this guy not see me? He's gonna stand back up, right? Yeah, there he is. This might have made more sense if I was in an area where I was likely to just die all the time. And who knows, maybe that's what this area will turn into. Hello? Alright, before I go down there, let's see what else is brewing. That's where I came up from. Crap. Okay, so I was right to hit that button. Medicine for calming nerves, used by those who deal in unspeakable deeds, reduces terror buildup and increases terror resistance for a time. Neat. Kind of not a good omen that they're introducing me to these. Probably means I'm going to fight more of those weird, creepy people. Do a quick resty. And hey, while we're here for this quick resty, we're going to kill a tab. Alright, what do we got here? Why people are so mad about the Epic Games Store. How long is this article? It seems long. It seems like there's a lot to this article. Also seems like it's gonna be interesting. Alright, let's read it. Why not? For more than a decade, Steam has dominated the PC gaming market. More than 100 million people have amassed vast game collections on Valve's platform, not to mention friends and communities. Now Epic is trying to muscle in on Steam's turf, and a certain segment of PC game players are remarkably mad about that. Here are the reasons why. 1. I feel like I'm far away from the mic. Here, Mike. Unfair exclusive games. The creator of Fortnite and Unreal Engine launched its PC game store back in December. Epic said it would take just a 12% cut of developer sales on its platform versus Steam's 30%. I remember hearing about that. It also promised a more curated storefront that Steam's virtual free-for-all, a more curated storefront than Steam's virtual free-for-all, and said that customer reviews for games would be strictly optional for developers. Moves that seemed like they could potentially stem the tide of toxicity that's plagued Steam for years. Epic had a few lower-profile exclusive games during this initial launch, such as Ashen and Hades. When it began to accumulate a series of increasingly high-profile exclusive games from AAA studios, like Walking Dead: The Final Season, Division 2, and for some reason the collected works of David Cage, that's when players began to get angry. The tipping point was Metro Exodus. Epic announced its exclusivity on January 28th, just 2 weeks prior to the game's launch. It was so close to launching that it already had its own Steam page, and many customers had already pre-ordered it on Valve's service. Oh gosh. Valve itself then entered the conversation. Rather than removing the game's Steam page, it left it online and posted a note that read, in part, that, quote, the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, end quote. This gave Steam fans the rallying cry. Competition might be good, but Epic's type of competition was not fair. Review bombs of earlier games in the series on Steam followed, as did irate mobs on Twitter, Reddit, and other websites. In Metro's case, some went after people who weren't even involved in the decision, like Metro book series author Dmitry Glukovsky. This has now become standard practice when a high-profile game... I lost my spot. A high-profile game becomes an Epic exclusive, as most recently seen with Borderlands 3, which also resulted in review bombs and widespread rage. Why, though, are people this upset? After all, it's not like big companies haven't tried to compete with Steam before. Most famously, Electronic Arts migrated its biggest series over to its own homegrown platform, Origin, back in 2011, causing Steam to miss out on more recent iterations of Battlefield, Titanfall, Dragon Age, and others, among others. Origin is far from beloved, but it's never prompted this kind of outcry either. Plus, it's not like these temporary Epic Games Store exclusives are skipping PC. People just have to download another free launcher to play them. I mean, that's my biggest complaint about these kind of things, is I hate managing a bunch of launchers. But it also doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to me. Perhaps the difference is that Epic isn't just taking its ball and going home, it's snatching up a whole Dick's Sporting Goods worth of balls, helmets, and cleats. It's not just keeping its own games like Fortnite off Valve's platform, but enticing away games from Steam. That seems to be the definition here of unfair competition. I just realized I'm like listening to the background noise of Sekiro. I don't need to be doing that. Leaving Steam features behind, part 2. Epic is snaring lots of exclusives at a time when Steam is even more entrenched than it was back when the likes of EA's Origin and Ubisoft's Uplay launched. Uplay is also one I use, actually, but I don't use Origin. Players like Steam's robust suite of extra features. Popping open Epic's launcher means temporarily exiting the Steam ecosystem, leaving behind friends lists, if you choose not to abort them, groups, and quality of life features with it. Personally, the biggest Steam thing for me that's lost out on these other launchers is in-home streaming, because I stream to a different device if I want to play downstairs. It doesn't help that booting up Epic's store is like walking into a post-apocalyptic supermarket. It's as barren as they come in terms of features, with next to nothing in the way of community tools, cloud saves, achievements, wish lists, mod support, user reviews, forums, or other longtime Steam standards. Many of these things are planned, but they're still a ways off. Even minor Steam features can mean more to some people than you'd initially expect, as ex-Valve developer Chet Felizek said over the weekend on Twitter. Valve's trading card system is more important to some players than you might think. You can earn them by playing games, sell them on the Steam's marketplace, and earn cash. Quote, between them and selling items when I was playing PUBG, I earned enough to buy multiple games. That's crazy powerful, especially in depressed regions. Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a huge market there, but that market was specifically created and fostered by Steam, and they make money off of it. But I mean, at the same time, it's not a terrible thing for the consumer, because I have sold those trading card things. Like, it's completely artificial, but so is like the diamond industry. So it's manufactured because we say it has value. Speaking of regions, some games wind up region locked on the Epic Store, meaning they're either more expensive outside the United States or not viable at all. 3. Concerns about spyware and/or conspiracy theories. Earlier this year, Redditors claimed to have discovered evidence that the Epic Games Store included spyware intended to track users. This, Epic went on to explain, is just software that keeps tabs on page statistics to help more accurately pay people as part of Epic's Support a Creator program. Epic said the rest is just basic hardware survey info, which is outlined in the company's privacy policy. Steam has a similar optional feature. Yes, I've used that feature before. People also accused the Epic Store of mining and sharing Steam data without permission, but Epic said it only sends that data back to itself if users opt into importing their Steam friends list to the Epic launcher. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney did, however, acknowledge that there was something wrong with the feature as it launched, saying that the launcher should only access those Steam files, quote, after the user chooses to import Steam friends. The version that raised eyebrows, he said, we're missing an end quote there. He said was a, quote, remnant left over from a rush to implement social features in the early days of Fortnite. I mean, that may or may not be that might be a conspiracy theory around that, but it's like, I mean, we know that large corporations collect and exploit our data all the time. Epic Store has also been dogged by security concerns, albeit largely ones stemming from Fortnite's spotty history in that area. Similarly, Fortnite's reputation for bad customer service has carried over to the store. Its countless cartoon millions helped construct. Carried over to the store. As well as a refund system that's received mixed reviews. Epic believes that reputation is overblown. Steam has also had its fair share of large-scale security fiascos and customer service gaffes over the years. It's also constantly collecting data about users. But for these same users, these things clearly have not been deal breakers. Then there are the Chinese conspiracy theories. Yes, it's time to go down a rabbit hole. The conspiracy theories stem from the aforementioned spyware accusations and the fact that Chinese company Tencent, one of the biggest video game companies in the world, owns 40% of Epic. I did not know that. The Epic Store's most vocal opponents have decided that Epic and Tencent are selling users' data to the Chinese government. These fears are, to be clear, outlandish, but not entirely outside the realm of possibility, given that the Chinese government likes to buddy up with big companies, and some, like telecommunications giant Huawei, have been accused of colluding with the Chinese government in pursuit of espionage. I mean, yeah, massive corporations in the U.S. Collude with the U.S. government all the time. It just didn't become like, it didn't leave the realm of conspiracy theory and into like public knowledge until some of the stuff came out with was AT&T first back in what, 2006, 2007. I'd have to look that up to be sure. But of course, since then, we know that pretty much happened with everybody. However, Tencent also owns portions of Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, Riot, Discord, and Paradox, among others, and there's no funny business to speak of. In addition, Epic says that Tencent is one of many investors, not a shadowy dictator. Did not know that this one company, I mean, I guess they own portions of, it's not the same as owning all of those companies. Last week, Epic's CEO Tim Sweeney directly addressed the conspiracy theories in a Twitter thread. I support everyone's right to complain about tech industry stuff. Epic Store, with exclusive games and a Spartan feature set, is a fine target for ire. But please help separate facts and opinions from the lies about spyware and foreign control. I'm the controlling shareholder in Epic Games, and have been since 1991. We have a number of outside investors now. Tencent is the largest. All of Epic's investors are friends and partners. None can dictate decisions to Epic. None have access to Epic customer data. A vision of fragmented PC future breaking up Steam's convenient monopoly. On its own, Epic Store is an inconvenience. A few extra clicks before you can play a cool new game. That's literally it right now. It doesn't force you to spend additional money just to install it, nor does it say delete Steam from your PC. But if everybody starts fleeing from Steam, PC gaming could become a jumbled mess of disparate game stores, collections, and communities, each with their own rules and quality standards. I mean, that's kind of what it was before Steam. Like, everything had its own installer, and it was on you to, like, manage how it was organized. Steam, for all its flaws, has unified and standardized PC gaming. However, it's never been a complete monopoly. Blizzard games like World of Warcraft and more recently Overwatch have always had their own ecosystem, so has League of Legends. For years, though, games like that felt like outliers. In recent years, we've seen more continental drift, with Activision adding Call of Duty and Destiny to Blizzard's launcher, while Bethesda chose, at least temporarily, to go its own way with Fallout 76. I forgot about the Destiny. Yeah, going to the Blizzard launcher. Meanwhile, other major players, like Discord, have launched stores with their own lower-profile exclusive programs. Yeah, I remember that being added to Discord. With these things in mind, you can see why some Steam users might have a dystopian vision of the future. Some imagine a world in which the Epic Games Store kills Steam and replaces it as the biggest PC gaming megamart in town, forcing people to rebuy games they'd previously owned on Steam. There's no evidence this will actually happen, given that Steam is still doing just fine, and Valve has more money than several world nations, but that hasn't stopped people from extrapolating what's happening right now into a potent worst-case scenario. They've been dealing with Valve's version of fairness for years. It makes sense that Steam users would view things like this through a lens of perceived quote-unquote fairness, even if Valve hadn't used the word itself. After all, their default for more than a decade has been Valve's ecosystem and the messaging about openness and fairness that accompanies it. Valve has spent years implementing laissez-faire free market policies for everything from game releases to user reviews to community groups and then reacting to controversies stemming from those policies by opening things up even more. Also very true. In its messaging over the years, Valve has continually stressed a dedication to keeping Steam open and fair, at least by its own definitions of the terms. It has designed a series of systems and charts that, on their face, seem impersonal and unbiased. The core underlying structure of Steam is an algorithm that's meant to serve up game recommendations to users on a meritocratic basis. Based on what players previously have seemed to like and other factors like prior popularity, review scores, and wish lists, games get more visibility or they don't. Steam is, seemingly, guided purely by the market. All games are locked in gladiatorial, am I saying that right? Combat for attention. Each one has an equal chance. The best games rise, while merely decent and of course bad games fall. It is through this lens that Steam users define what constitutes, quote, fair and unfair, end quote, competition. They can define what unfair competition looks like in a heartbeat. It's any overt attempts to undermine this entrenched, often taken for granted system. Within Steam, that might mean, quote, fake games intended to help people farm trading cards or achievements, games that aren't traditionally good, but also aren't really hurting anybody by Valve's measure. Despite this, these games have drawn a disproportionate amount of ire over the years, and Valve has historically done a poor job of shutting that ire down. The same goes for developers who game the review system or delete comments on forums. In the grand scheme of things, few developers actually do this, but Steam users view any instant of it as symptomatic of a larger rot. Epic 2 is gaming Steam's ostensibly fair system. It's throwing money around to lock down highly anticipated games for arbitrary periods of time on PC, where all borders are ultimately arbitrary and the default is Steam. Epic isn't testing its mettle against competitors on an even playing field, the line of thinking goes. It's giving itself an artificial advantage with heaping gobs of cash. But that notion of fairness is ultimately illusory, born of the way Valve has run its business since Steam began making enough money for it to transform into an IRL version of the company from Portal. The algorithm is continuously designed and updated by human beings and has biases. Sometimes Valve performs experiments on it with unintended consequences that benefit big games over small ones. Other times it works exactly as intended, but tends to prioritize games that are already popular. The free market is rarely, if ever, actually free, and competition, especially inside a well-oiled money-making machine like Steam, isn't fair. People game the system precisely because Steam is unfair. Success often comes down to who can ride luck, the wax and wane of genre preferences, timing, gimmicks, algorithmic shifts, and even underhanded tactics like lying about release dates, to the top of a select handful of charts that go a disproportionately long way toward determining success or failure. This inherent unfairness is present too in the competition between Steam and Epic. And it creates a similar sort of tension that Steam users can only vent through rage. In theory, quote, fair competition would involve another service coming along with a better feature set than Steam and winning the day on merit alone. Easy enough. But nestled within that sleek shell of simplicity is a briar ball of thorny particularities. What features could possibly lure Steam users away from their gargantuan game libraries on a store where everybody releases by default? In what sense is it fair that Valve has those things going for them? How can anyone hope to level that playing field and create a competitive environment that's truly fair? This is not to say that Valve has cheated in some deliberately nefarious way by succeeding. Rather, the point is that as Twitch streamer and personality Casey Explosion, hey, I follow them, explained on Twitter, there's no such thing as fair competition at the scale Valve and Epic are working on. The great equalizer, or unequalizer as it were, is, as ever, money. That's infuriating to realize. It is the colossal bummer at the heart of capitalism. This has been like razor blades for Steam users to swallow because it seems to have been effective. Last month, Epic said that Metro Exodus sold 2.5 times as many copies at launch as its predecessor, Metro Last Light, did on Steam. It's not just that Epic is using tactics that are perceived as unfair, it's that those tactics are working. The hate for the Epic game, or the Epic store, stems from a variety of concerns. Some of them, like the store's threadbare feature set and region locking, are legitimate, even if they don't merit this degree of response. Other concerns, however, our conspiracy or conjecture, and all of the anger has been amplified by the megaphone of Steam's own longtime rhetoric and structural issues. We've got a messy, drawn-out fight on our hands, and since Epic doesn't seem like it's finished snagging major exclusives for its store, things are probably going to get messier before the dust settles. Very interesting read. I'm glad I read through that. They definitely hint at it a little bit in the article, but it is interesting to think about people being so connected to... I should close this tab. Downstairs. People being so connected to... Oh, did I go back to the game? I did, okay. So ingrained in the Steam system that they now see that just as being itself fair. You know, like they've accepted Steam, which was not accepted at launch. And since they're so ingrained with that, they view something different as, like, being unfair. But, I mean, also, in another way, it is... I mean, of course it's unfair. It's not designed to be fair. None of these companies are trying to play fair. Should I just spend all the money on Spirit Emblems? Why not? Whoa. Whoa. This looks wicked cool. Right, that bloke doesn't see me yet. Which means he must be done in. Swinging around on those things is so fun. Something down there. There's also like a lot of people. They probably want to hurt me. I don't really want to be hurt. Liquid seems bad. I don't want to be in it. You know I'm here. Oh goodness. Cut out that audio. Wow. You guys are jerks. Whoa. Oh, he's a boss. No, no, no! Oh, no! It's not working very well. He just walked. He can just walk through there, can he? It's not fair. He can't just walk through there. Do you think he'll ever get bored of chasing me? Uh-huh. I don't want to be sneaky. I get to that. Good, good. Getting plenty of upgrade materials, that's good. He's the big bad. Or is he the big bad? I think this guy might be the big bad. What is he got? Oh, what is he guarding? Ooh. Oh, no, I don't like that. I do not like that. Goodness. Oh goodness, this next article is so long. But it's gonna be a good read. Ooh. Maybe we'll skip it. Can we skip it? How long is this article? Disney keeps using science as a substitute for young female personality. Dumbo the Nutcracker and Beauty and the Beast all fall prey to this particular trend. Could be interesting. Last year's The Nutcracker in the Four Realms is mostly cinematic cotton candy, but it's been stuck in my craw ever since I saw it. Despite not being a remake of or a sequel to any Disney movie I'd seen before, it gave me a powerful sense of deja vu. Recently it dawned on me why. The Nutcracker and 2017's live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast each denote a progressive and feminist sensibility by outfitting their heroine in pants and giving her exactly one personality trait, a fondness for science. I have no problem with Disney pivoting all of its live-action heroines to being science nerds, but the devil is in the details. Along the characters' actual journeys, there's no subtlety to the way these traits are integrated, or any use when it comes to their place in the story. Very true. That was very odd. I've only seen Beauty and the Beast out of these, but it was very odd in Beauty and the Beast. In both stories, the leads demonstrate their love for science in facile ways, bluntly stating their interest or tinkering to debatable effect, with some curio that would fit more comfortably on the floor of a steampunk convention. The use for their scientific pursuit is limited to scenarios engineered for them, rather than being a meaningful contribution. For instance, Belle comes up with a washing machine prototype at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast that never crops up again. That's true. Actually, that seemed like it was specifically there for like a joke about how the townspeople didn't understand this like super simple mill, which is weird. For instance, yeah, Belle comes with the thing. Otherwise, the scientific method is largely forgotten. Tim Burton's new take on Dumbo. Oh, Tim Burton did that? I did not know that. Cements this penchant for STEM topics as a trend, as that single trait once again defines its lead, Millie Ferrier. Repeatedly, she tells people about her love of science. She owns a chemistry set that she never uses, and does a little animal training, the latter of which she constantly refers to as employing the scientific method, or the rules of science, despite it bearing no discernible connection to the field. There's no question that these characteristics are well-intentioned, but there's a chasm between good intentions and affecting results. Science amounts to little more than a costume for Clara, Belle, or Millie. Their single interest doesn't inform their growth. Instead, all three movies default to the same broad thematic arc about not doubting oneself. Sounds extremely Disney. And yet the lead's interest in science is made to be such a big deal early in each story that the degree to which they ultimately don't factor into the conclusion is jarring. At its worst, science feels almost like a last-minute character addition. The script for Dumbo tells us that Millie loves science, but has to twist itself into pretzels to hide the fact that her ultimate purpose isn't to be unique, but to facilitate Dumbo's flight, which doesn't require scientific inquiry at all. If anything, the film could have made Dumbo's gift and Millie's scientific mind a source of friction, but no such luck. I reserve some hope for future female leads with a knack for science. The Disney movies that don't fall short in this respect are those in which that love is naturally integrated and engaged with rather than used as a prop, but also, granted, they're adapted from non-Disney source material. Sure. A Wrinkle in Time and Black Panther both feature young women with an interest in science and technology. Oh, I used to really like A Wrinkle in Time. I read that book a lot. I did not even realize that there was a movie. Their passions make a dramatic impact on the problems they face. Meg's parents are scientists, and she quite literally has to follow in her father's footsteps in order to find him. Shuri's interest in and talent for tech is just as much personal as it is part and parcel with her responsibilities as a princess. In Black Panther's big car chase sequence, I haven't seen Black Panther. This is not good. I'm going to skip the rest of that paragraph. By contrast, Disney uses book smarts and curiosity as a substitute for female independence in the same way that proficiency in martial arts or a leather jacket once signaled that female characters were tough and cool. They're visual signifiers, or traits not traditionally considered girly, but they're also only surface-level indicators. Millie cites Marie Curie as a role model several times, but there's no explanation of who she was or why she's so significant to Millie as a scientific hero, beyond a diorama in which Curie is the only woman in a room full of men. The movie is taking advantage of the way the field of science was historically considered unsuitable for women as shorthand for how its young heroine is going against the grain, but places no emphasis on the actual work women did. That's a really interesting point. Also, Marie Curie is like a recognizable name. That's another. Imagine that probably went into it more than anything that was actually going on. Changing a character in thoughtful and rewarding ways isn't impossible, but it can't be done for the sake of lip service. I mean, it definitely can be, but I take that point. Cinderella and Maleficent, for example, both revisited and revitalized well-known characters by fleshing out the extant material and an entire backstory in the later case. Instead of updating these characters in a way that ironically comes across as directly contradictory to the "you are enough" message that these films are meant to send. Broadly speaking, the big thing these young women learn is that they're more than good enough just as they are. Their shiny new interests suggest that someone thought otherwise, but ultimately just prove the point. paraphrase Annie Lennox and Aretha Franklin, sisters have to do it for themselves, not to keep up appearances with others. It's interesting. Drawing some connections with some things I haven't actually seen. What's up next? Oof. Oh, this one's gonna be brutal. The Border Patrol has been a cult of brutality since 1924. How long is this article? This also seems like something I want to read. Especially in light of... Oh, this was published in January 12th, 2019. I mean, yeah, we've had... a story of like a group of right-wing shitheads basically illegally detaining people, going around like a roaming gang, their own like border patrol that isn't actually operated by the US government, basically kidnapping people. Well, we'll maybe spend a little bit of time reading this in a bit. That guy see me? Is he looking over here now? Is he just chilling? Is it possible to attract just this guy without alerting the other dude? I've definitely alerted the one I didn't want to alert. Oh boy. Oh, not great. Oh, bad. No, no, don't do that. Oh! No, I don't want to be in here. Don't like this. Holy cow. Let's try this again. This guy is just... Holy cow! The Star Wars looking motherfuckers just obliterating me. Okay, now I definitely was blocking there. I was watching on the replay. Okay, maybe I didn't hit it at the right time. I definitely felt like I had blocked that. If I go over here, I get him to like chill enough that I can just go kill me. Whoa. There you are. Ooh. It's so brutal. No, stop doing that. I don't like it. Nope. No, it didn't move. I shouldn't have. I goofed it. Just goofed it right up. This guy's kind of hard. Not bad. Get sneak down. No, it's right there. Go to it. Here, you come all the way over here to fight me. It's gonna do it. Absolute madman. What? Oh, he's like right there. Oh my goodness. Come on, bring it on. Get poisoned again. I dare you to. Ooh. God can do this. I can do this. Oh yeah, stand in that poison. I dare you to. No, don't do that, don't! Specifically, do that. That was it? I still have another. How am I still alive? Run away, run away, don't get hit, don't get hit. Okay. Just pounding some pellets. He's gonna get himself poisoned again. He's totally gonna get himself poisoned again. Okay, how can I not just immediately die like that? No, no, no. So many things to read on here. Is there anything on here that's not reading? Okay, here's a tab we can close that's not reading. I don't want to read all the time. Alright. This is a Twitter. This is a Twitter tweet. Schultz writes, the majority of Americans aren't Democrats or Republicans. The majority of Americans are Americans. And this is mashed up with a Tommy Wiseau tweet. No one is black or white. Everyone is red and blue and white. I love America. Thank you, USA. There you go. It's a very good tweet. An examination of the 1999 strategy game Sid Meier's Alpha Century. Oh. Okay. I will definitely watch a hour-long... Oh, it really sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but no, I will definitely. No, I can't watch it later as the Joe. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna put this over here somewhere. Because I'm gonna have to add that to my other YouTube. But there you go. Close that tab. Paris vows to rebuild Notre Dame despite cosmic absurdity of seeking inherent meaning in fleeting creations of man. Following a massive fire that destroyed significant portions of the Catholic Cathedral, Paris officials vowed Tuesday to rebuild Notre Dame despite the cosmic absurdity of seeking inherent meaning in the fleeting creations of man. We will come together as a nation to reconstruct Notre Dame, no matter the fundamental irrationality of imbuing mere man-made structures of stone and wood with any sort of deeper meaning in an existence where entropy is the only universal truth, said French President Emmanuel Macron in a press conference, adding that the government had already received more than $700 million in pledged funding for a restoration project that will serve as but a momentary impediment to the corrosive sands of time. Notre Dame was built, destroyed, and rebuilt over the course of hundreds of years, and we will rebuild it again, only to watch it decay once more. For indeed that is its fate. As it is the fate of all of man's works. Like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the mountain, we will endeavor to fix the cathedral, despite all empirical evidence to the contrary, in a world which demonstrates time and time again that there is nothing real to be found in worshipping the ersatz as edifices that serve as a sorry facsimile of any real human connection. We expect this completely arbitrary and fundamentally meaningless process to take 10 to 15 years. Taking a drag on a cigarette, Macron added that French officials mourned the Catholic relics and artworks lost or damaged in the blaze, even if they are but false idols and profane images merely serving to fracture the spiritual connection one ought to devote totally to God. Man. The Onion still has it. Ooh, this is a good news. Grand Rapids could make it illegal to call police on people of color for participating in their lives. City Commission will host a public hearing on the proposed human rights ordinance. Oh, it's like a human rights ordinance from the city of Grand Rapids? Grand Rapids, Michigan could soon have an ordinance that would make it a criminal misdemeanor to racially profile people of color for, quote, participating in their lives. The bias crime reporting prohibition is one of a handful of adjustments that would be made to the city code as part of a proposed human rights ordinance. Other components include expanded protected class definitions, identifying 4 primary potential areas of discrimination, and an outline of the referral and compliance process. Interesting. Could vote on next month. Okay. Drew said Grand Rapids police have been unnecessarily dispatched to situations due to 911 calls that were perhaps made due to implicit bias or discrimination. I guess my only question is like, well, who defines, like, if you're making a misdemeanor for calling in these cases, like, who's defining that case? Oftentimes things that are intended to be good will be intentionally misused. Oftentimes the Grand Rapids Police Department ends up being caught in the middle of what is a bigger community problem. They look bad because they approach individuals who are people of color, and it appears the police department is biased when really they're responding to phone calls made by the community, and it appears that a number of those are motivated by people in a discriminatory way. Oh, so okay. It's not that the cops are biased, it's that they're responding to people who are biased. Okay. Respond to a specific incident. It's meant to make people check their biases before calling the police. Call the police, but if you're calling because your neighbors are having a barbecue and you're calling because of some implicit bias because they're people of color, we don't want to see that. I mean, that's fair. That's really good, actually. The proposed ordinance puts a prohibition on any person denying another individual the enjoyment of civil rights, or for any person to discriminate against an individual on the exercise of civil rights because of actual or perceived color, race, religion, creed, sex, gender, identity or expression, sexual orientation, national origin, genotype, age, marital status, medical condition, disability, height, weight, or source of lawful income. Wow, they're hitting all the boxes. That's good. A violation of the ordinance would be punishable by up to a $500 fine per day that the violation occurs. It goes on to list the specific changes. Bias crime reporting prohibition. Community Relations Commission expanded from 9 members to 13. During the creation of the ordinance, CRC members sought input from the Fair Housing Center of West Michigan, the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, and Disability Advocates of Kent County. Okay. 7 p.m. City Commission meeting Tuesday, April 23rd. Ooh, a little late on reading this one. It will be live broadcast on the city's Facebook and YouTube pages. Oh man. I feel like people had some things to say about this. I mean, it seems really good to not be preventing that, but I guess my only hesitation is around, like, are you really preventing that by introducing more punishment? Like, in general in the US, we're already pretty we have plenty of punishments. I don't know. Like, it kind of seems like the similar logic to, like, you know, certain fines that we have don't necessarily don't necessarily have the intended effect. They just end up being applied to people who maybe can't pay those fines and just ends up in more trouble. Here we have a meme. This is not an article to read, this is a meme. It's from the Peterson versus Zizek or whatever debate, wherein Jordan Peterson, lobster daddy extraordinaire, had a little laptop so he could look up things, and people made some memes about how he didn't seem to know anything about philosophy. Oh, I was reading this one. I read this one already, but this is messy stuff. Matt Shea. Or Shy. He was the guy who talked about, like, a biblical basis for, like, a holy war to be waged in the US. Scary stuff. And this article basically talks about how these chat records came out that were linked to him and some other, I think it was staff members, basically talking about running a, quote, psyops operations against communists and Antifa. Including, like, torturing them and killing them, basically. It's messed up stuff. But I'm not going to reread the whole thing. It's on The Guardian if you're interested. That's a lot of we've got a lot of tabs down. How am I doing on time? Almost 7 o'clock? Okay. That's pretty good. This is from the Hill. Trump approval drops to 2019 low after Mueller reports release. I mean, 3 percentage points is not that much of a drop. I feel like there's this, I don't think it's an intentional strategy, maybe it is. I feel like we don't get much variation. You know, like there's just this constant slew of terrible things happening involving our president. And people are just sort of numb to it. It's kind of hard to imagine it having such a drastic difference, drastic change from anything that he does at this point. I mean, then again, if we do start impeachment processes that in the past had drastic changes, both of recent history instances. Anyway, back to the game. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Dare you to come find me. Dare you get poisoned. Just like standing in the poison. Oh, it actually takes a lot to poison this person. Definitely can be poisoned because they got poisoned before. Hey, he's dying. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, no, no. Oh, no. No, I refuse to do this. No, 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 don't kill me! Oh! That combo. Oh, that combo. Unseen aid. Okay, I'll take it. Why not? Good place to farm antidotes, apparently. I make my escape. Crap. There's my guy. There he is. Right. Get in that mud. Get in that mud. I want you to be a muddy boy. Just hanging out in that mud. Just taking a stroll. Hey, don't get out of the mud. There we go. Nope, don't do it! I didn't want you to do it. I specifically asked you not to do it. Ooh, boy. No, no, no! Ooh. No, don't do it, don't do it! Ooh! Okay, I got this though. I got this. Watch that in the replay. I just watched exactly where I screwed up. Oh, it's disappointing. Well, time to kill another tab. We could listen to some Gnome Chomsky. We can look at the WikiLeaks dump, which has a lot in it. Oh yes, this guy. Elizabeth Warren's plan to cancel student loan debt would be a slap in the face to all those who struggle to pay off their debts. It's so spicy. Allowing women to vote is a slap in the face to all of those who struggled without a vote. I mean, yeah. Ending child labor would be a slap in the face to all the children who contracted black lung in the mines. Ending World War II would be a slap in the face to all of the Allied troops who were injured in combat. So true. Camster has some actual things to say about this. Plans to regulate food would be a slap in the face to all those who died of salmonella. Lead paint regulations slap in the face to all who drank tainted water and dealt with it like men. Bicycles are a slap in the face to all those who used to curl up in a ball and just roll down hills. not art. Anyone who feels that way is someone I'm happy to see uncomfortable. Yeah. That the letting women vote one is a good meme. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break to grab some lemonade, and I'll be right back. Lemonade acquired. Let's back to the game. Give us another go. Ooh. No, 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 no. Run away. Did you get poisoned yet? So I'm not feeling amazing about this run. Let's take some lemonade and wait for this person to get poisoned. Ooh, goodness. Great shot. Just stand in that poison. I got put in my place. Well. What in the world? Okay, don't take on two of these guys at once. Am I gonna get poisoned again? Insanity is at 30%. Alright, Buster. Buckaroo. I could try just pounding one of these. I got plenty of these. How am I stuck? What is going? What in the world? I think that was edge detection. That was so frustrating. Like, I'm trying to walk over this tiny little ledge and it just won't let me. Alright, let's see if we can avoid having that happen to me again. And it just immediately happens to me again. Alright, we're going back over here again. It's just too unfun. Don't walk through there, guy. Walk through the mud. Oh, now you've done it. You refuse to walk in the mud. That's disrespectful, frankly. I walk in the mud for you. No, 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 don't do it. Specifically said don't do it. You just immediately did it. boy. I'm gonna pop one of these. And immediately get blown away. No. I'm getting worse the more I play. Oh sweet, got unseen aid. It's not fair. I guess the guy just like hit me. That like teleported me just so he could kill me. Okay, come on. Nope, no, no, don't do it. Just the worst spot right there. I'm gonna use all the rest of my heals. We're just gonna see what happens. Run away! Ooh. Right in the back of the foot. Maybe I just go somewhere else. Can I get up there? It's definitely a path. Maybe that one I can get to. Okay, yeah, it's not something I can get to right now. Is this guy my only way forward? It's kind of seeming like it. I bet you this only opens up if I kill this guy. Owie. Ooh. That was a lot of point loss. I want to go that way. Go. Do I have anything I can enhance? Let's go back here and look at upgrading my doohickey. You need something? I do. Need to look at all your sweet upgrades. Loaded spear cleave. Loaded spear thrust. Yeah, it looks like I need to do a lot more collecting of resources, huh? Awkward.
With a mechanical barrel.
So many possibilities. Well, that's it for now. I did not close all my tabs. I closed quite a few of them. Let's look at those. How many tabs do we get down to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. 15 doesn't count there because I just opened that. Ooh, 5 more years than Bernie released. Wowzers. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris released 15 years of tax returns on Sunday, offering a glimpse into how the California public servant ascended the financial ranks to become a multimillionaire. $142,000. Oh, this was written before Bernie had released his taxes. Okay. Yaggy. Oh yeah, I meant to read this. Oh, this has been an interesting... This war between the WGA and the ATA. Anyway. She has to be good to be financially successful. And that's how it works. That's how it works. Alright, 7:30. I'm gonna go make dinner. Stop losing at Sekiro. I'd say this is a pretty good closing tabs stream. I got quite a few of them gone. I mean, who am I kidding? I'm not going to read through all the WikiLeaks stuff. It's a lot of stuff in there. We can kill that one. Ooh, this will be a good read. She's just... Warren has so many policies. And they're just all good. She's got good policies. Alright, I will go win at dinner. Catch you later. How do I quit this game? Warren is really cool. I like her a lot. I hope that she continues to be this awesome in the future. And like regardless of who beats Trump in 2020, I hope that we're able to get some support for some of these policies. Anyway, catch you later.